is your birthday.
It's my birthday, and it's a nice sunny day, so let's do some painting.
Painting party, just like we mentioned in the last video.
Yeah. Well, you know, you've got to take advantage of the weather while you can.
See, you've got a little helper now.
Yeah. Painting party in full swing.
Way. And I'm going to have a flag putter upper party on my own.
Oh.
Yeah.
What flag is that then?
Well, we'll see. There we go. What a sight. That, my friends, is the flag of the county of Devon in the United Kingdom. Land of beautiful green rolling hills, cows and farmers. Time for wood chip.
Painting party's over now.
Run out of wood chip, haven't we?
Yeah, but we've managed to get behind there. We'll just have to wait for some more.
Oh well, we'll have to wait for the delivery, which I don't know when that will be because we haven't had one for a while. It's Monday afternoon. The sun is shining. I've got my flippy floppies on, and it's time to get on with some gardening. These Swedes are going out today. These I've grown from seed in the polytunnel. They've been potted up. They have been hardened off outside for a little while now. One concern is that usually you sow them directly into the ground. I've read that you can do it this way and transfer them, but I'm slightly worried that they may have just gone over, but we're going to give it a go. Gonna do it. What's the harm? I've got more seeds if I need to plant more. Second job. In this bag, I have some potash, and I'm going to feed the strawberries. Maybe a little bit late in the year to do that, according to a fellow allotmenteer up at the site here, but going to give it a go. And then finally, we have another tray of golden beets, and I'm going to sow these in clusters this time, because apparently you can just pick one of the clusters and have baby beets and leave the other to grow and reach its full size. Anyway, I need to crack on. I've not got a lot of time today, but we're going to get this done. So we do like to take a nice stroll around our allotment site, and we have noticed recently a lot of people have been placing this white powder underneath their strawberry plants. I asked one of our neighbours what this was, and he said it's potash and it's a fertiliser, and this primarily supports plant growth, increases your crop yield, disease resistance, and also enhances water preservation. So I decided to grab a bag and give our strawberries a little boost. I've made a light sprinkling around all of our plants, and later on I'm going to be watering this in to make sure it's absorbed into the soil, into the roots of the plants. This year we really wanted to try growing some swede. Now the seeds were fairly easy to germinate, and I've already hardened off the plants for a week outside. One of the issues with Swedes is that they belong to the Brassica family, therefore things like whitefly are going to be chomping on those leaves as soon as they get the chance. One of the most important jobs would be to build a frame with netting to ensure that the little pests won't get in there and chomp away at them. After seeing what various other tenants at the allotment had done to protect their brassicas, I came up with a plan. Firstly, I would place bamboo canes in the ground at regular intervals. Next, I would recycle some old glass jars, placing them on top of the bamboo canes to prevent the netting from tearing. The glass jars also act as a safety mechanism should anyone trip and happen to fall onto a pointy bamboo cane. I took a trip to our local recycling centre and got hold of some wood. As you're probably aware on this channel, we love to recycle things and make use of anything we can that's laying around a plot to avoid buying things new. Luckily, most of the wood had already been cut to a decent size, so that saved me a job. I would place the wood around the borders of the plot, which would allow me to staple the netting to it later on. That said, I did have to cut a few pieces to size, but that wasn't much of a chore. The soil in this plot had already been prepared a couple of weeks ago. We dug in well-rotted horse manure, some chicken manure pellets, and also watered at intervals using Fostrogen. The ground had been thoroughly dug over, and we ensured to remove all weeds and as many heavy stones as we could. I have been warned about growing Swedes by neighbours because apparently several people haven't had much luck. That said, we're always willing to give anything a go, and living in the county of Devon, we see a lot of fields full of Swedes. How hard could it really be? We had already planned the spacing for the Swedes. We'd plant them 10 inches apart in rows about 15 inches apart. This was marked out with plant stakes. I took care when transferring the Swede babies into their plot. After digging a hole, I placed some well-rotted horse manure and gave it a little water just to ensure the roots are getting fed as best as they can. The transplanting was going extremely well until a little visitor appeared, which we later found out was a young female robin. Unfortunately though, things took a turn for the worst.
Oh no, the little bird has flown into our neighbour's greenhouse and it's stuck. It is an emergency. I'm going to have to go onto this plot and try and prise the door open. Well. It's gone in the grass, in that long grass. I found some birdseed. Let's put some birdseed down. Let's try and coax it out. There we go. Mission success. Right, well I know I shouldn't really touch something that's not mine, it's my neighbour's, but I'm not having another bird get caught, so I'm just going to keep his door closed. No more burbs getting stuck in there.
I continued the transplanting and we've ended up with 16 Swedes all ready to start growing. I gave them a light watering, although rain was on the forecast, so I didn't water them as heavily as I would do normally. Next, I started to place the netting over the frame I had built. This was easier said than done. After some wiggling around, I managed to position the netting in the place it needed to be. I then grabbed my trusty stapler and began fixing the netting to the wooden posts that I bought from the recycling centre. These Swedes could take up to 6 months to mature. The top half of the plot will have more Swedes planted. They're currently germinating, and I'm looking forward to getting those planted out once they've hardened off. Now our only concern is the slugs and the snails. Upon returning to the allotment later that evening, I decided to water in the potash I'd sprinkled on the strawberries earlier. Because the fruits had begun to develop nicely, I placed straw around the base of the plants. This would keep the weeds down, prevent the strawberries from rotting, and also deter slugs and snails. I placed stakes in all corners of the raised bed to allow the netting to sit nicely on top. I decided to staple one side of the netting to keep it secure, and the other side I'd use thumbtacks so I could easily remove the netting if I needed to. Because our Monge 2 and Sugar Snap peas had begun flowering, I also thought it a good idea to cover those with netting. Again, this would deter the birds, who I understand love eating these things.
Sylvia, I found a buttercup. Do you know the old legend about buttercups? If you hold it under your chin, and if it goes yellow, it means you like butter. You can't do it with me, I've got a beard. Sylvie, do you like butter? Well, I think the results are inconclusive, but seeing as she's a cat, it's fair to say she probably does. Halfway through the beet planting, just need to hoe the ground over. This hoe is ancient, it's tiny. It's a little mini hoe that is probably one of the most useful tools we have on the plot. We didn't buy this new. I mean, why buy new tools when second-hand ones, old ones, do just as good? Reuse, recycle. Don't always buy everything new. Have a look in your local trading shed. Ask a neighbour, ask a friend at the allotment. They may have tools going spare. that they might give you, or you could trade for plants. That is our 5th row of golden beets put in the ground. If you haven't been watching the channel and you're not up to date with any of our previous videos, the plan is to plant a row every week or 2. So we've got a constant harvest going of golden beets. So at the moment we're on our 5th, and the first initial row was planted just over a month ago. So as the sun is setting and I've had a really busy day, I'm actually quite tired, to be honest, pretty tired. I've done a lot today, but it's been good, it's been productive. All that's left to do is water these, but I'm a bit worried about doing that because the slugs and snails have been going crazy this year. They have been eating all sorts. They've been eating things that they don't normally eat. So they were chomping on our curry plant, which you may have seen me put in the last episode. Neighbour told me they have demolished his mint plant at home. So when do slugs and snails eat mint? They don't. But hey ho, last job of the day. Let's get these watered in. Oh, Sylvie's here. You're not going to like this, so maybe stand back. You're coming in here. Okay. Well, hi to you. Hi. I better get her out of the way before I spray anything. Ugh. Oh dear. It is having a bit of a rain. It is also having a bit of a thunder as well. I hope there's no lightning, what with being in a metal framed polytunnel and all. For once, the weather people actually got the forecast right, so can't say I'm unhappy about the rain. In fact, dare I say it, we actually need some. Well, seeing as I can't really do much outside, I thought I may as well come in the polytunnel, catch up on things, do a few bits here and there. Also, I'm going to hang around in the rain for a bit and see what happens with the slugs and the snails on our new Swede, because I came up this morning and a few of them have been nibbled. Yeah, look, nibbles there and a couple nibbles there, and well, that leaf is nearly all gone. I was actually talking to one of our neighbours about the slugs and snails, because everyone all over the allotment, even on various allotment Facebook groups, has said how bad it's been this year for slugs and snails. And apparently, especially where we are in the southwest of the UK, we had a really mild winter. I think we probably had like 2 or 3 light frosts, and there's so many slugs and snails around because the eggs didn't get killed off over the winter. So there's millions of them, they're everywhere, and they're all ravenous and really hungry, and they're just eating anything. Anyway, let's find some jobs to do in here, because I don't want to get wet, really. I mean, there actually is quite a lot growing on in the polytunnel. Oh, you see what I did there? Yeah, I love dad jokes, sorry. First thing on the list, watermelons. Some of you might remember that we said we were going to have a go at growing watermelons. And we planted one in maybe about 6 weeks ago, 4 weeks ago, into the ground in a polytunnel, and it didn't survive. And I kind of gave up on these two, to be honest. I left them in the hothouse, and they've turned into this. They're doing really well, which is a problem because we decided to plant our Chinese cabbage where the watermelons were going to go. And these are doing rather good too. And I really don't want to pull these out of the ground, to be honest. I really don't. Why not use another part of the polytunnel? Well, the other area has just had a Malaga melon planted, one of Tilly's. So yeah, we got to find some space for some watermelons, and we are thinking about maybe growing them around our compost bins outside, but we'll have to make a decision on that soon. So what I wanted to look at doing tonight until the rain passes was to reinforce some of the branches on these tomato plants. They look really close together. In hindsight, I should have left more space, really. We've got a Black Moon variety here, and we've got a beefsteak, and yes, apparently beefsteak tomatoes can grow up to 6 foot in height. So yeah, it's going to get quite big. So I think I'm going to need to carry on building on this frame to support it as it goes up. The Black Moon as well. I mean, that one's doing better than the beefsteak. It's getting quite big. It's getting quite bushy. I've been trimming off all the leaves at the bottom to prevent splashback from the soil with water for any fungal diseases. So yeah, I'm going to work on supporting these, like giving the branches some more support, so when they do have fruit, it doesn't just collapse and bring the whole plant down. So let's give that a go. So I'm just putting the finishing touches to my homemade tomato frame, which is going to be quite good because it's going to give the plants lots of ventilation, which is what they need, and also support the branches when they're growing those big juicy fruits. Sylvie, trying to film. Here it is. So here's the frame. So we've got bamboo supports tied with string and a few cable ties here and there. So this is just supporting the main branches of the tomato plants. And Sylvie is really, really interested. Okay, hi. Anyway, back to this. And the idea is, because they're going to grow quite tall, I can add slats to this frame whenever I need to support new branches. That's the idea anyway. I mean, okay, yeah, I could have bought some of those curly steel tomato support things or put up like a big nice fancy frame, but I like building little things like this. Just doing it yourself, having a go, and just constructing crazy little things. Well, why not? Give it a go yourself. It's recycling old material as well, old bean poles that we've got, old bits of string. It's not buying things new, it's making the most of what you've got on your allotment, which I think is rather good.
Oh, cheers guys, here's to 900 subs. Don't worry, it's not for me, it's for the snails. I'm going to attack these slugs from every angle. So this is the last resort. It's actually lager, not beer. Don't know if there's any difference, any preference, but anyway. So I'm going to pour some. This is the first one. Oh, it's frothing up a bit, so let's just go and do these.
This really does work as well, doesn't it?
It does, yeah. Yeah, we had a right meaty collection just now.
Yeah, have a look. Here we are. Here's a footage of us emptying the disgusting concoction.
Yeah.
Blech, disgusting, look at that. Oh, I hope you're not eating your dinner whilst you're watching that bit.
Oops. Mind you, it's really sickening because look, we've got all these barriers and they're just decimating everything.
Yeah, they've been going at our Swedes. As you can see, here's some footage of that. I've put some beer traps in as well as a last resort to see if I can stem back the tides.
I know.
And they're also disgusting. Like, this is the other thing. Here's a bit of footage now of them eating one of their own dead friends. So if you're a slug fan, remember that they're cannibals.
Yeah, they really are disgusting, aren't they?
So then what do you do with the remains afterwards?
Well, then I just, like, after I've got rid of them, I then put them in the compost heap and they'll make a nice tasty concoction, nice addition to the compost, of which we're going to talk about soon, all different types of compost.
Good morning, chickies. A line of hens ready for their breakfast. This happens every morning now. Every morning. And oh, who's that over there? Hi, Sylvie. They've got a little treat this morning. Spaghetti. Oh, you like the spaghetti? Should we do a quick egg reveal? Let's see what we've got today. We've already got one from the other side. Here we go. One in there. Two in there. And one in there. So 5 eggs this morning. I think one of them may be laying later. A quick Swede update. Let's see what is left. I think there has been some nibbling going on. And it looks like, unfortunately, one of the plants won't make it. But let's have a look in that beer trap. Yeah, I mean, this was put out last night and it is quite full. But I mean, we've still taken a hit on some of the plants. So beer traps, good thing, bad thing. You decide. Leave a comment.
Well, it's Friday morning and it's already been quite the busy week. There's been a lot going on and a lot happening in this episode. I'm just standing here in our crop of early potatoes, the Rockets and the Duke of York, because it won't be long until we start to dig these up. These plants are getting very big, and I'm really looking forward to seeing what we get from the harvest on these. I'm sure you guys are too. Well, because we covered quite a lot in this episode and it's already getting quite long, I think we'll call it there for this one. Although we've got lots more planned over the weekend. We'll be looking at some homemade compost, homemade fertilizer. I'll be helping out Tilly on her plot, building another raised bed for the melons over there. There's always stuff to do. There will never be a dull episode because there is always things going on our plot and Tilly's. So as always, thank you so much for subscribing, liking the videos and leaving comments. We love reading your comments, we really do. It really does spur us on to make more videos. And if you're not already subscribed to the channel, please consider doing so to stay up to date with our antics on the plot and sometimes outside of it. Well, that's all for now. I will see you guys in the next one. Stay safe.